Hello, everybody. Conference tournaments are done, and yes, we have a bracket. What better way to kick off the madness of March than with a DK slate and your favorite Broskis in basketball? Recording live from somewhere, this is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that Green Screens Media train. Welcome to One and Done, your fast break of college basketball information. And we are powered by the world's, dare I say, universe's greatest website. And that website is drroto.com. I'm your humble host. My name is Jay Heinrich, and I happen to be the conductor of the aforementioned Green Screens Media train. Find me on X at Dr. William Cannon. Follow me, and I will smash that follow button back. I am known to do that. But without further ado, let's get right to one of the absolute best in the business to do it. You know him as El Capitan himself, the captain of the Green Screens Media ship. Follow him on X at MCHolland34, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. What did you do, Mike?
Man, we don't have any games today, so I'm sitting around just like itching and scratching and just been shaking in bed. Usually I take the Fridays off and try to chill and relax, but knowing that if I wanted to, there's college basketball, but there wasn't today. I think part of that is because I was blessed with a little luck on some PrizePicks yesterday, and then DK's been hot, man. DK's been hot. 2 GPP wins. Yeah, I don't want it to end, man. I'm sad to see the season go, but I've got my transfer big board already up to 36 guys. So here we go, off to 500 for the offseason. But first, man, we need to take care of some business with this big tourney we got going on.
Absolutely. And speaking of the tournament and said bracket, your boys at One and Done are having a bracket challenge. That is correct, a bracket challenge. It's pinned to our Twitter page at One and Done CBB. So get over there to Elon's hellhole, follow us there. Get into our bracket challenge. It's going to be here in the live chat here on YouTube as well. So if you're watching on another platform, maybe you're hanging out with us on Twitter, get over to YouTube, type in Green Screens Media into the search bar. We're going to pop up right there. You get over here to YouTube, hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and make sure you get into the bracket challenge. By the way, it's not just, the bragging rights are great. That's all. That's fun. That's good. Yeah, and when I win, it's going to be awesome. But also, the winner of the One and Done bracket challenge gets an autographed Caleb Love jersey. That is correct. Caleb Love, my son's favorite player. Somehow, Caleb Love, I still don't know how that happened. But that's what we're giving away. Sign Caleb Love jersey to the winner of that bracket challenge. So get over there to the Twitter page or find it in the live chat here on YouTube. Right there. Jason B hopping in. Good evening, gents. Good evening to you, Jason. Good to see you in the live chat. Hop in the live chat like Jason did. Let us know if it's your first time, if you've been here for a long time, if you don't got the time, if you know what time it is, whatever you want to do, drop it in the chat and let us know you're hanging out with us tonight, because we appreciate you doing that and doing your part in the Green Screens Media universe. Follow our guy at Fantasy Nav. Also, he's pushing some buttons. He's not too far away. Our guy, Eric the Blue. So shout out to him in those Twitter streets at Fantasy Nav. And then our guy, Napesy Hustle at The Real Napier as well, doing stuff behind the scenes, hitting you in them socials. You see his beautiful, handsome face on the socials in those videos, dropping bets, dropping PrizePicks, doing the thing over there. So like all those pages, I should say, follow us everywhere. And now it's time to dive in. Time to dive into this 10-game slate, tipping off at 6:40 Eastern time, a 5:40 tip. So it's not, if you're in the central time zone, I should say, like your boys are here on the old I-35 corridor. 5:40 tip central, 4:40 mountain, 3:40 west coast. You know the deal. You guys know how that works.
What about in Europe?
If you don't,
preferably Eastern.
Eastern Europe, you got the people in like St. Petersburg, Russia, watching us over there for DK tips.
I don't know if that's allowed.
Shout out to those cats over there, and shout out to you if you're watching with us first time, or if you are a returning viewer of One and Done. Let's get into this slate though, Mike. Some decent totals here. Nothing over 160, but some ones in the mid 150s and high 150s as well. Jason saying it's midnight over there. All right, well, it's midnight tip off, midnight, whatever.
Midnight somewhere.
It might always feel like midnight in Russia. Who knows? Overview of this slate. Let's get to this. Is whatever you want to do season. Do whatever you want season. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. And what Eric wants to do is ask in the chat, what's the square root of this apartment? I was told there would be no math, Eric. Okay, but back to the DK slate. You can do whatever you want with this one. Value for days, which is what was the exact opposite of what we've been having to deal with lately, with no value to find. Ton of value now. But here's the deal. Do you worry a little bit about rotations with teams that aren't out there competing for the national title? We're looking at a lot of NIT games here today, Mike. It's very possible that these coaches are taking these postseason tournaments like the NIT to play some younger guys, to see what they have for the future, to get some guys some run in some spots that they haven't really been in before all season long. So yeah, we base a lot of these projections on minutes that these players have played throughout the season and what they've done recently and trends and things like that. But you gotta take into consideration that some of these cats, especially in the NIT games, you got to take into consideration that some of the younger guys might just play more.
Yeah, that's a concern, man. I know pre-show we've been talking about that. I'm nervous, especially some of these these senior guys that they're not going to be back. I know some guys have the option to return for like a final COVID year, which is really annoying that we still have one more year left of this. But it is interesting, right? Like you look at some of these teams, and it's like, what does Butler really have anything to gain by playing guys that are not going to be on their roster next year? I don't know what a NIT championship. I don't think that really does much for you in recruiting. The NIT, I don't say it's a joke, but it's kind of looked at, it's just you're getting more games in. And why would you want to get more games in when you can get in the portal like today? Like there's 100 guys jumping in the portal today. Teams are declining like Ole Miss, St. John's to go out and start next season. So I don't know, man. Like, what's your take on it? Feels like if you opted in, maybe you're content with some of the guys that for sure are coming back. So that's maybe you want to work overtime. I don't know.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Mike. We just saw recently the University of Texas make a run in the NIT, make a deep run in the NIT. Do you feel like that run, in the grand scheme of things, affected the trajectory of this program at all?
Yeah, it didn't, right? Like the coach is not here. I don't feel like it's like this momentum booster for next year, because even if you won the NIT, some of your guys played really well in that tournament, which maybe makes them a little more appealing. They might just hop in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many narratives around this. I don't want to,
coaches have to consider that, by the way. That definitely goes into this thought process of the rotations of these postseason games. Am I going to showcase these guys just so they're good enough and they go off and then they leave me because they got these extra 3 games in the postseason?
Right.
With a lot of eyes on them and only on them in some of these situations. You got to take that into consideration. Are you playing, when it comes to attacking this slate, Mike, are you approaching it from are you just doing mass multi-entry? Are you looking at single entry stuff? Okay, mass.
Yeah, I think you have to on this one. I think you got to give yourself multiple, just because we have these other factors in play. I mean, obviously you've got teams in here in the first 4 that, they're going to play their guys, Wagner, Howard, Colorado State, and Virginia. Like, we're just going to see those guys run out there for 40 minutes, they're starters. So, you feel safe with that. But then the rest of the games, it's kind of a crapshoot. I think you do have to mass multi-entry and just kind of get different and maybe kind of mix it up, whereas you don't have to necessarily worry about any of that when you're, in the middle of February and early March. So just kind of a sidebar here as Erica comes through here saying, or do they stay because coach gave them some run in the NIT? Yeah, the world may never know. We don't know. And Jason B saying, how many KSU guards is too many guards? That's kind of part of the problem. Tyler Perry, I'd pretty sure he's out of eligibility. So, I mean, that price tag, we'll talk about him in just a minute, but oh man, I'll be so crushed if he plays 25, 28 minutes.
I'm ready to be heartbroken. Mama Rock's also jumping in saying, what's up? Listening only tonight. Mama Rock's got hands full of squirrels. We'd love to hear that. Doing the work out there on the farm. Good to see you in the chat, Mama Rocks, as always. Do your part in the Green Screens Media universe. Hit all those buttons, like, subscribe, notification bells. Hit the live chat. If you're watching on Tuesday morning with your coffee, drop us a line in the comments letting us know you were hanging out and that you subscribed as well. We would love to hear from you. As Jeff jumps in again, was hoping Temple got in just for the FU NCAA narrative.
The old gambling scandal, that would have been kind of awkward.
That would have been awkward. Good to see you again, Jeff, as always. But let's get to it now, Slate. We buried the lead. Let's get to it now. Let's get to the slate now. Mike, this is how excited I am to get to it.
Yeah. What was that thing I said the other day?
Yeah.
The isms. Man, we're creating our own one-and-done isms.
But either way, let's get into it. With 4 games we're going to showcase tonight and then hit our world-famous tiers later on in the show with the remaining games. But let's hop right into it. Jason asked about Kansas State and their guards. Let's get to the Kansas State matchup against Iowa here. A 159-point implied total. Iowa, this is not your grandfather's Iowa Hawkeye basketball. 22nd in tempo. They get up and down and score the basketball quite a bit. So a pace-up spot here for Kansas State, who has been known to play a little bit of defense themselves on a night in and night out basis in the Big 12. Still a pretty nice total here that we're looking at, Mike. An 8-man rotation for the Wildcats, 4 guys playing 30 minutes. Go ahead, Mike. What about Kansas State?
Yeah, I think you have to love the Kansas State side at first look, right? These guys are going to pop off from projections. I mean, Iowa 13th in the Big 10 in defensive efficiency. So while they are great offensively, they can't really stop anybody defensively. 153rd in the country in defensive efficiency. So we know all season long, Penn State and Iowa really struggling inside to stop anybody. Iowa was 12th out of 14 teams in the Big 10 in 2-point percentage allowed. Iowa's 260th in opponent assist rate. So because they get up and down and they don't play a lot of defense, you always want to target them and probably target them heavily, which is what Jason B is saying. So Arthur Kaluma at 7,200. I know I just mentioned Tyler Perry, but Arthur Kaluma at 7,200 at the forward spot. Certainly interesting. Things didn't quite work the way they wanted to with K-State. Just missing out on the tournament. If they'd won a couple more Big 12 games, would have been right there in it. But we know he has 35, 40 fantasy point upside, high usage rate and shot rate throughout the season, can get you some rebounds, also hand out some dimes. Shot 34% from 3, which is not terrible on the season on 145 attempts. I think the thing that you have to really like about Kaluma is that he's a guy that loves to drive to the hoop. So when we talk about, trying to take advantage of the matchup, right? I was 12th in the Big 10 in 2-point percentage allowed. Well, this is a spot where you feel like, you can get some guys here attacking the rim and getting some buckets, right? So Kaluma on the season, 208 2-point attempts. So a ton of drives to the basket for this guy. I'm just so in love with Tyler Perry at 6,200, not Medea.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I think I love both.
Thank you.
But Tyler Perry here sitting at 6,200 is just absolutely too cheap. I mean, for his role, like this is pretty insane. For how many threes he takes. Now I know this isn't a 3-point advantage, but he's a guy that can drive into the lane and create a lot of havoc with, getting assists and getting to the cup too. So
24% assist rate, Mike. I mean,
yeah, you have to love that, right? Like this is a Taylor spot for him to just carve up this defense. So Kaluma and Perry kind of on the top of my list, man. N'Guessan, like he's okay. 5,300. I don't know that I want to pay that. I'm just more interested in kind of their top dogs here. Jason B coming through talking about Day Ames of opening slate lore when I didn't play the 2 Moorhead guys together and flipped like half my lineups to Day Ames and lost 10K or whatever. But that's already in the past.
It sounds like it doesn't bother you at all.
Oh man, Lathan and Minix, those names will stick in my head forever. Day-Day Ames, 4,200, man. 18% usage rate and 18% shot rate. Like the rates aren't going to stick out. I mean, 18% assist rate. So you figure with the ball in his hands more and now playing more minutes, you love that. It's a beautiful day, like Jason says. So a little terrifying because, man, Jay, like Cam Carter's there too. So for day, like you're having to watch Tyler Perry take a bunch of threes, Arthur Kaluma drive to the basket a ton. And then there's nobody that likes to shoot the ball more than Cam Carter. So what are your thoughts on this roster and Cam Carter?
He went to the Caleb Love, never met a shot he didn't like school. Which do you like that for a DFS purpose with the 26% shot rate? Now, the thing that caught my eye as we got the prices earlier this afternoon on this slate, this is the lowest price, tied for the lowest price the entire season. We were paying 8.4K in January for Cam Carter, 6,100. Think about that, Mike. 6,100 when he was 8.4K in mid-January. Like, he's the same player. I promise you. He's the same guy. He leads the team in 2-point attempts. Bump for this matchup, right? 231 attempts from 2-point range. On top of the 185 times he shot from beyond the arc. Do I like the 31% from that? No. But if you're going to win, and you're going to play Cam Carter, it's because he had an awesome Cam Carter night. Got a couple of assists. Got a couple of swipes in there too. The rebound rate's okay, but you're playing Cam Carter for that explosion of points and a little bit of everything else sprinkled in. And at 6.1K, Mike.
Ceiling, man, at that price for all these guys, Kaluma, Carter, and Perry, I really hope this is in the situation where these guys, I really hope they play 35 minutes here. That would be, they're going to be super popular too. I would imagine very popular.
Oh yeah. Who do you think would be the most popular? Who do you think will be more popular out of those top three guys? Kaluma,
probably Perry, right? The name recognition,
the movie star. I mean, no.
Exactly. Kaluma won't be. I think he'll be the least because of he's 1,000 more than the other two, and the other two just they take a ton of shots. But so does he. Like, there's no one else that takes any shots on this team. Like, they Ames takes some shots, 18%. But everybody else is like 15, 14, 13% shot and usage rates. So, man, to answer Jason B's question, how many guards? I mean, we're staring at 3 right here with Perry, Carter, and Ames. But I don't want to forget about Kaluma, man. Like, there's a way you can go 3 on this side. You can go Kaluma, Perry, Ames. You can go, Kaluma, Carter, Ames. You can go, the 2. You can go all 3 at the top.
You go Kaluma, Perry, Ames. That's 17-6 for 3 players there.
Yeah,
it's not
insane.
like that's under 6K a player in this total on this slate
and this
with
tempo,
that kind of star power
and a bad defense.
Exactly, in a bad defense. Iowa, as a reminder, 22nd in tempo in the country, big time pace up for K-State. And Iowa, again, this is not
second to last.
This is not the football team. This is not the football team. Okay, they're not out there playing a ton of defense. Let's get to the Hawkeyes playing 9 guys. But what's most important here is the 3 guys hitting 30 minutes. K-State is 4th in the Big 12 in defensive efficiency. Okay, but K-State was also last in the Big 12 in turnover percentage. K-State is also 13th in both opponent shot rate, in both opponent shot block rate. No stocks available here for Iowa. So Peyton Sandford, let's start with Peyton Sandford here. 8,700, top dog here, price king for Iowa. We know Sandford. He's a beast. So when you got a beast, you got to pay the beast price. 8,700 here. Now, listen, you're paying for that 60 upside, 60 fantasy point upside. We've seen it within the last 5, 66, 4 games ago for Sandford. Now, without the stocks, I mentioned there's not a lot of stocks available. Doesn't feel like it in this game for Iowa. So without that upside, I don't know if we're going to see like ceiling Sandford, right? I don't feel like we're going to get there. And I don't think it's going to be very popular at this price. So I think if you're going to, I get it because he's a star, but if I'm paying 8,700 and I'm trying to win, I'm trying to see that comma. We're here to win commas, not comas. So, Sanford, contrarian play, I guess, at best for me here. Who are you feeling, Mike? Anybody else on this Iowa side?
Yeah, and I mean, you're marrying the stock upside that K-State gives you with the fact that Iowa isn't a team that can get stocks. I mean, when you look at it here from a defensive perspective, 204th in the country in creating turnovers, 268th in the country in creating turnovers. So while K-State will give the ball up, you at least need a team, like Jay's saying, that can take the ball from you and create turnovers. And that's not something that Iowa does, especially not Sanford. The only guy that can really create stocks, a couple of guys would be Perkins and Freeman. Perkins that's sitting there at 7,700, you're saving 1,000 off Sanford. So, man, a good defense, and I guess Tony Perkins is the only guy really in my player pool from this side because he is a guy that has a 3% steal rate, so you can take advantage of the stock bump there by K-State turning the ball over a ton. Plus, he has a 25% usage rate and a 23% shot rate. But the rest of this team, they don't do it. Ben Krikke won't block shots. He won't get steals. Peyton Sanford might fall over a steal, but that's not really his game. Josh Dix, there's just nobody in the 2% or 3% range except for Tony Perkins and steals and Owen Freeman, who has the 8% shot block rate.
Yeah.
I am very intrigued by him because I feel like he should just be given 35 minutes. He's obviously going to be a centerpiece of their team. He's all-star freshman this year. We know he has 40 to 50 fantasy point upside. The fact that he's got that 8% shot block rate and Kansas State is 13th in opponent shot block, that is a good marriage. Plus, he combined his 33% rebounding rate. So I'm trying to talk myself into Owen Freeman. I know I just said Tony Perkins is probably the only one, but listen, when Owen Freeman only plays 23 minutes,
yeah,
it's annoying because you also have McCaffrey there. So it's one of those things, man. It's super annoying. He's averaging 48 fantasy points when he plays 35 minutes or more. But the thing is, Jay, it goes back to the narrative, right? If you could say, oh, you know what, I was coming into this, who do they want to give I would love to get Josh Dix 35 minutes. They would love to get the young Sanford, Price Sanford. They would love to give him 25 minutes. They would love to give Brock Harding 20 to 25. If I'm McCaffrey, I'm like, why am I sitting here? And as Jason B saying, punts may not be needed by Brock Harding's minutes have been up the last year. He does produce fantasy points. Right. So if you told me that Brock Harding is going to play a significant amount of minutes, then I have some interest there. There's just so many punts on the slate that you don't we got some guys that are going to play 35, 40 minutes that are under 4K. So the fact that it's do I want to get into that kind of mess? It's kind of interesting. Brock Harding playing 14 and 17 minutes in the last two games when I can go get Esqueda that's going to play all 40 minutes for Wagner at 3,900. That's where it gets a little tough. So I'm not married to anybody on this side, Jay. I just think Tony Perkins is interesting because he does have a high usage rate, can produce some stocks, and then Owen Freeman obviously can put up a massive double-double and block a bunch of shots. So, yeah. Other than that, man, it's just kind of annoying on this side.
Well, and I was having trouble putting into words how I was trying to describe Peyton Sanford there. Obviously, the stocks are available, but he's not the guy that's going to get them for you in this matchup. So, thanks for cleaning me up there a little bit on that. But Sanford's not that guy that's going to just, like you said, he's going to trip over a steal, maybe.
Yeah,
right? So
and that's what you need at 8,700.
Yeah, so that's the downside there. And are the minutes even going to be there? I don't know that I want to pay this price for a guy that I'm so unsure of. Contrarian play, get different. Again, you're going to have to get different on some of these lineups, especially. That's why we're pushing the mass multi-entry sort of strategy here today. You're going to have to get different. So Sanford should probably end up, if you're doing 20, put him in 1 or 2. But
dude, all the guys up at the top. Because you can get to them and no one wants to play them.
Yeah. So just get a little weird with it. See what happens. It's one of those guys is gonna play their normal allotment of minutes, and they'll go off. So you got to mix them in, but not maybe not banking on that play. Thanks for hanging out with us there. Nothing against Iowa, but I really enjoyed Fran McCaffrey losing. Jeff, I don't think that you're alone in that feeling. I don't know. I don't know. What's the deal with McCaffrey, Mike, in college basketball circles? Like, is he
they can't get rid of him because the Suns are there, and I don't know what his deal is, man. He's got, although he does make for perfect Twitter, on a 30-second clip of
you took what I was gonna say. You get the sound bites, you get the clips, it drives the conversation and gets people chatting. So again, you got to be around the game somehow, but maybe just not as the damn coach. All right. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with us. Hit those like and subscribe buttons for us. If you please, turn on those notification bells. Hop in the live chat like Jeff, Jason, Mama Rocks, Eric. Who else says? Yeah, that's about it. Hanging out with us. Make sure you get in that bracket challenge. You see that in the live chat if you're hanging out with us on YouTube. If you're not, get over to YouTube. Check it out. It's flashed up there on the screen. The link is right there for you to get over there. Enter yourself into the one and done bracket challenge for your chance to win bragging rights for a year and an autographed Caleb Love jersey. We're pushing 50. I'm getting the producer in my ear right now saying 50 entries at this point. Pushing 50. We're damn close to that. Push us over 50. Hopefully we get into triple digits and way beyond that for that signed Caleb Love jersey for the winner. But before we get there, we've got a lot to play these games first. And these games that we're talking about aren't even in that big tournament. But that's okay, because there's DFS to be had, DFS dollars, that bread to be had, and we're here to get that bread as we move on to Cornell and Ohio State. Cornell and Ohio
Who thought you would say that?
That's not necessarily a matchup that I really thought we would be previewing at any time in my life, really. But here we are, and Cornell are 9-point dogs against Ohio State. Cornell does get up and down, 26th in the country in tempo. You love to see that, especially for some of these Ohio State players, because it's a big time pace up, 294th in tempo for Ohio State. So most games are pace ups for the Buckeyes, but Cornell at 26, we like that. Ohio State plays a little bit of defense. Cornell, not so much. They're just too busy getting up and down. Let's start with Cornell. They're playing 11 guys.
Yeah.
We don't like that. We don't really care for that very much. No one's hitting 30 minutes either. So, I mean,
yeah, ninth in bench minutes used.
What do you do? Yeah, what do you do?
Yeah, it's kind of ugly. So when you kind of break it down, Ohio State 60th in the country, right? Big Ten play obviously fell down. Some really good offenses. I'm sure you've heard of Illinois and Purdue there. Finishing 8th in the Big Ten. So 8 out of what the Big Ten at 14 teams in the middle of the pack there. Where they really struggled is giving up the 3 ball. Now, what I find about Cornell that is super interesting, they play at this insane pace, right? But when you look at their style of play and what they're actually good at, they're second in 2-point field goal efficiency in the country, nearly 62%. Now, I know they don't play some of the stoutest interior lines. In the Ivy League, although Ivy League is pretty good this year, but defensively, some desire to be had there. But they're 8th in the country in 3-point attempts. So a little confusing there when you only shoot 34% from 3 as a team, which is still, it's good. But to be hoisting up that many threes and then your efficiency really be inside, an interesting factor. I guess there's maybe one guy I'd look at here. That's Nazir Williams. He's 6,700. I mean, you love the rates. The minutes are kind of annoying. I think he's kind of sneaky. 24% usage rate, 23% shot rate, 17% combined rebounding rate, 23% assist rate. Now, he's a guy that does take threes, taking 105 on the season. So really, that's probably the guy I'm looking at. There's Chris Mannon also, Jay, $400 more, but these guys, he's a guy that's gotten into the 30s, but I don't know, man. Is there a way you can talk yourself into? I know we're more interested on this Ohio State side because of the pace up and the defense of Cornell being 173rd in the country, but I don't know, man. It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, Mannon does it all. He does a little bit of everything, and you love the rates here across the board, and you like that He's 5th in the country in steals. Like, I mean, there's an opportunity here. But again, like, I don't know. The uncertainty with minutes, with this rotation, you don't know how this is going to go. This could get ugly. Who knows?
Yeah, I think we definitely just at the price. It feels like all these guys are about $1,000 too expensive for the allotment that they. Like if it came through and Nas Williams was 5,700, now you're like, okay, I'm kind of intrigued. If Chris Manning comes in at 6,100,
even if
now
Manning
you're
was at like 62, 63, like I just don't know if I could get over 7K for Manning. Like that's I don't know.
Minutes.
Well, Ohio State though, we do have some guys hitting 30 plus minutes. 3 of them, as a matter of fact, 9 guys hitting the scores table. So what about the Buckeyes? The one thing that I like so far about this slate is that the top options on most of these teams to get into any of these higher total games, you're going to be able to get into them even without the value. Even if you're trying to just sort of live in whatever mid land you want to live in, which is maybe not recommended on the slate, but you're going to be able to get into basically any game you want to get into, Mike, and that includes this one with the Buckeyes.
Yeah, for sure. And I love the comments here. Diebler got that bread from Jeff, and then Chad coming in saying it's kind of hard to look at the rates, right, because it's a different coach. Obviously, with Diebler, taking over, for Holtman, who set it over to DePaul. The tempo has been up. I just don't know that I want to like gamble, especially when I know that we're going to talk about some guys that are cheap that we know what we know they're going to be on the floor a ton. So it's like, why? But obviously large field tournaments, it might be interesting to maybe get a Cornell guy in there, especially since people aren't used to playing these guys.
Yeah.
But on the Ohio State side, man, like you're talking about a Cornell defense that is pretty bad. You're talking about them getting beat up inside. So absolutely here, man, like Bruce Thornton, 7,600. I mean, the guy's on the floor a ton. I mean, he's going to be an all Big Ten type player next year, coming off a 44 and a 36, a 29 and a 32. He's going to shoot the ball. He's going to get a ton of assists. I like him in that mid 7K range. I hope he kind of goes overlooked because he is a key piece for them in the future. So Bruce Thornton, man, like he's on my radar for sure. He's probably going to pop really well in projection. He always does. And then you put him in this matchup and it's like he's going to probably explode when projections come out. So I'd hate it if he's popular because you got all these other dudes around him. I mean, Jamison Battle, I don't have any. He's over 7K. I'm not paying for a shot dependent Jamison Battle. We played him, made a lot of money a few weeks ago when Bruce Thornton was hurt. Then it was like, okay, Battle, you can go ahead and just take every shot that you see fit. So Battle at 7,100, I've got no interest in. Man, when I'm looking at that matchup, though, man, we just talked about it. Like Ohio State, giving up the 3-ball, though. Like Battle is interesting, but that's all he does. Like he doesn't do anything else. There's no stocks. Like there's no assists. There's like when he catches it, he just shoots the ball. But when you have Bruce Thornton there, like Bruce is a guy that will take 20 shots and won't let Jamison Battle take 14 or 15 shots. So no interest in me. With Jamison Battle here, the rest of the squad here. I mean, Cornell just giving up the 2-ball, 282nd in the country and opponent 2-point percentage. So I like the big guys, especially in a tempo spot. Felix Opara, man, like what a weird season, right? Like just complete roller coaster. Trying to catch him when he's real low, and then he just doesn't play any minutes, and you start, you catch him one time, and his price goes up for 2 games, and then next thing you know, he's 6,500, and then he just doesn't do anything. It's just been so like hit or miss with this guy, like an absolute GPP option for sure. I mean, him, Roddy Gill, and Bruce Thornton, like we talked about in the preseason, like that big 3 going into their sophomore year, they all in some ways have taken a little bit of a step forward. I would like to see Opara get just more secure minutes there. But you love the shot block rate and the rebounding rate from this guy. Like it's real. It's real in this spot. And large field GPPs, I'm going to be taking some shots. Zed Key's there also. I don't know. I guess Dealer likes Zed Key a little bit more than Holtman did because we were banging the drum in the middle of the season. Like, why is Zed Key who put up 50 fantasy points against Iowa last year? Like, I know he's not great defensively, but you're not winning, and you've won with the guy for like 2-3 years. So like, why all of a sudden is he not playing? And then look what he goes out and does. He's 4,500, puts up 20 against Illinois, 7 points, 8 rebounds in only 23 minutes. Like, we know that Zed Key can go off. So, I mean, I like Jason B's comment here. Devin Royal, Scotty Middleton, both those freshmen, intriguing. But unless we get somebody ruled out, I just, Jameson Battle wants to move on with his life, or somebody's sitting out because of injuries. It's hard to get to those two dudes. So,
what
are your thoughts on the missing link here?
The last time Royal played 20 minutes, he had over 22 fantasy points.
Yeah,
and that wasn't that long.
Talent's there.
That was a couple of weeks ago. That's so. If you could tell me, Jason, if you could tell me that Royal was going to play 23 minutes, it's smash. It's smash city. Like, I totally get that, but at Battle's expense, this could be one of those situations. Another guy to look at is like the young guy that the coach wants to get some run in for. It's Roddy Gale, man. Like, and this guy, this is the future of this program, right? So, I mean, this is the exact scenario that we're discussing here. Get some run in the postseason here. Get a little bit of extra run here. Show coach what you can do. It wouldn't surprise me if Gale played a just absolute,
just like 38 minutes. Like, why wouldn't he? Like,
why would he come off the floor except to take a pee or something if he had to, right? The Super Soft was awesome all year long. I love this price, 6,100 all day. Please give me some Roddy Gale at 6,100, and just in general, with the way that this sets up for him and this pace up, like, I love him even more. So, Roddy Gale.
I like what Jeff's saying, man.
Consider.
Does the portal play anything with Royal? Yeah, because you want to keep Middleton and Royal. Like, they're talented. Just so hard to, like, keep your young guys behind. It's like, when you're not winning, why are you not playing the young guys anyway?
And we were talking about this offline too. Like, how do you have to definitely take into consideration that these guys are being scouted in these games, and if they perform well.
Don't tell me they haven't been contacted.
What? No, sir. No, never. I was talking to my wife about.
You don't even remember her.
And she goes, well, have these other teams talked to these players already? And I said, no.
Yeah, what was the big offensive tackle from Iowa, like, or from Alabama?
Alabama, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, so it happens, but good point, Jeff, to make definitely there. And Roddy Gale is somebody that I feel like he's just going to get all the minutes, and at 6,100 with that talent, got to consider him there. A couple games down in the showcase and a couple to go. Make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, like our guy Chad did, who subscribed last time out, I believe, during the show. We appreciate that. Ciao, Chad TTV. Make sure you do like he did and hit that button. As we move on now to the third game of our showcase, Boston College and Providence. The Friars are 6-point favorites. A 146-point implied total here. Neither team gets up and down a lot. Providence is going to play a little bit of defense here, but let's start off with Boston College first. 7 guys checking in, Mike. The important part, and the reason that we're talking Boston College hoops on one and done is all these starters are playing 30 minutes. So really, you're gonna pick a guy and plug him in, and hope he's the one that goes off for Boston College.
Really, honestly, man, I feels like all of them kind of are in play as long as they're playing 30 plus minutes. But
right,
you have Hand and the League Bay and all these guys just kind of waiting for their turn. So we'll see. Hopefully that comes to fruition. Providence on the whole, obviously a top 20 defense in the country. Big East play, though, they gave up a lot of threes. 9th in the Big East in 3-point percentage. They also turned the ball over quite a bit. And now doesn't look like they're going to have Devin Carter. So this is why this game's in the showcase is more on the Providence side. But you're right, Jay, the Boston College side. You have Quentin Post. Like, what are you going to do? This guy's put up 250 pieces in the last 3 games. He has to be in the player pool, right? Oduro is there, right? So it's not like – it's not like the greatest matchup in the world for him, but he's just so skilled, man. I've got a feeling he's going to play a pretty good while in the league. I mean, he can block shots. Like, he can shoot threes, shoot 44% from three on the year. Like, yeah, that'll work in the NBA. He's not a plotting big like PJ Hall. He can move around a little bit more. So high usage, high shot rate, double threat here. We'll see if he gets the high complement of minutes, right? That's the one thing that kind of is concerning. He is one of the better pay up options, I believe, if we do get those high minutes. The rest of the squad, all price 6,500 or under as far as the starters. Claudell Harris at 6,500 has won some people some money over the past couple of weeks. Prices, obviously starting to come up here. Put up that 33 bomb against Miami at 5,400, and it's kind of been living in this mid 6K range. So 226 3-point attempts this year and shot 36%. You talk about a bump, right? Like, here's the bump. I mean, Providence giving up the three ball. Well, Claudell Harris is a guy that is shooting a ton of threes. So Poston Harris for me kind of stick out. Jaden Zachary, I mean, she shoots 41% from three. So I think Boston College, no Devin Carter, it feels like they're going to be raining some threes down. So Jaden Zachary at 6K, always love him at this price for GPPs. He's so annoying. Like the 3% stock bump too on steals with Providence turning the ball over, and with no Devin Carter might turn the ball even more with Garway Duval playing some more minutes as a freshman. So I love Jaden Zachary and GPPs. Mason Matson, I'm probably not getting to him, even though he shot 148 threes and shooting 38%. But the price tag, I need him to do a little bit more than fall over a rebound every now and then. So
yeah,
love the guys that really can threes. I mean, Devin McLaughlin, I mean, he's shooting 34% from three. Jay, I don't know, probably not my favorite. Do you have any interest in him? And who would you like? What's your thought on the other guys? Like, is there a preferred play here for you?
Yeah, I think you do have to consider McLaughlin. I think Harris, though, you mentioned Harris. You said he shoots a lot of threes. How about 39 in the last 3 games combined? 39 3-point attempts. That's I'll say it, absurd. But also the type of line that I want to have on my fantasy team. And I like McLaughlin. He doesn't shoot as many threes, but his price is at a point that he's intriguing in large fields. We've seen him hit 5X at this type of price points. He plays a ton of minutes. You know he's going to be on the floor. Well, you probably know he's going to be on the floor. I was talking earlier about, the starters hitting 30 for Boston College, right? Well, what if?
The damn what if game is in play, man.
The damn what if game is more in play on this first round. On these first round and first 4 matchups, well, more in the NIT, so I would say. But either way, just throw it out the window at this point. And the McLaughlin, can still hop into just a cheap double-double. He's got that kind of talent and ability. And what you like is he's 3K less than post. So if you wanted to get into this one, I would understand if you were paying up for you're going to be able to get the post because of the type of value that's in this slate. So if you're into that, if you feel like he's in for that 50 burger again, like he's done 2 out of the last 3 and over 40 in 3 out of the last 5, then you're going to be able to get there. But if you choose to spend up somewhere else, Harris or McLaughlin are both really solid plays. The comment section is on fire. Chad, our guy Chad, and their friend hasn't been likable since Siena. Well,
Siena Arkansas tournament game.
The lovable. That's when you're Siena's coach. You're annoying, but you're annoying.
Yeah, it's a cute way.
And you're a little tiny Siena,
like Joe Golding.
It's okay when you're the coach at Siena.
Ooh.
When it's a tired act.
Yeah.
When you are in the Big Ten.
Talking about the North Texas boards.
Not 1, but 2 mean.
I'm not gonna tell you you're a moron when you take it down with one of those guys, but I think we have a play later on that we're going to talk about on the guard side from North Texas that might be too good to pass up on. So appreciate the comments, Chad. Man, keep them coming. We love the community that we built and want to keep you guys engaged. So why don't we flip over to the Providence side, Jay, with 8-man rotation, man. But the biggest news I think on the slate here is that Jeff Gagner saying Devin Carter can't help himself. He's going to play 40. Well, Kim English came out today. He's got the questionable tag saying that he is probably likely to be held out, I guess is the terms. Quote, don't quote unquote me, but like paraphrasing. You can go back and watch that I don't think he's going to play, Jay. Like, what is the point of him playing when you're basically when you're a lottery pick? I don't know what he has to gain from dropping 52 fantasy points on Boston College and tearing up his knee with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Like, you're talking about millions and millions of dollars on the line. And also, English said that he's nicked up in other, like, he's not, it's not just like, he's banged up. So from having to shoulder the load of the, Big East Player of the Year, right? Like, I didn't think they'd give it to him, man. I thought they would give it to, Tristan Newton or Tyler Kolek because of I say because of the winning. I mean, nobody thought Providence would do anything after Bryce Hopkins went down. He's also a price king. Like, I just don't see a way, Jeff, that he plays, man. And so with that happening, now we talk, like, Providence was already annoying because it's like Devin Carter, Josh Oduro, and then like it's just sloppy and just a mess after that. I mean, Oduro, right? He's 8,400. If Carter's not going to play, obviously he already has a huge role in the team, right? I mean, he's the 1B option on this team. So I don't think it really changes anything. He's still going to get his. Maybe he takes a few more shots, but like Oduro's just going to kind of do his thing. Devin Carter affects the entire backcourt. Devin Carter's rates, 28% usage, 28% shot, 27% combined rebounding rate, 23% assist rate, 3% block and steal rate, and took 223 threes this year. That's gone, I feel like, when he finally gets ruled out. I don't see how he plays. Just saying, hope he's wrong. Just could see. Yeah, I mean, it's news to pay attention to, because guess what this opens up? It opens up a merry-go-round of hell. It opens up Jaden Pierre, Corey Floyd, and Garway Dual, and even Richie Barron. Like, I'll put him in there, but I'm not wasting my time on Richie Barron taking corner threes. I'd rather talk about Jaden Pierre missing threes from the wing. So he's 5,400. He's that third option on this team. He hasn't been very good in most spots. I popped off for a 31 a couple of games ago. Of course, I missed it because I'm always trying to nail when he's going to have that game because he has it in him. 19% usage, that should go up. 20% assists, that should go up. His 18% shot rate, that should go up. So, I mean, yeah, spin the wheel, Jay, with these Providence guys. Like, just take your wheel like this, right? And then you just fling it down and just let it ride, my friend. Exactly. Just like that.
There it is.
And guess what?
Just like that.
You're probably going to be pissed off if you land on Corey Floyd or Garway Dual.
Yeah, but what about – we haven't talked about ticket gains. He plays every minute. And his price hasn't been lower. It hasn't been this low in 2 months. Like, I mean,
but look at the usage rate and the shot rate. I mean, I get it. He's probably going up too, right? Like,
but Carter's out, right? So it's not just Pierre and Floyd and Dual. Like, Carter's out. Gaines has shot 178 threes. Okay, you talk about guys standing in the corner
40
and shooting
minutes.
or whatever. Yeah, he's on all cardio. He gives you a spot on my team, especially at 5,200. Man, it's gonna be so hard to not just pay up god dang near max price for some of these guys. And then
we're studs, man. Where they at? We got the secondary studs on the slate.
But the thing for Gaines is, like, he almost got 4x when he was 0 for 9 from the field. Okay, so he can get it done other ways. The 2% block rate, okay, he'll get a couple of rebounds here and there, but
you gotta think these guys take more shots. They have to shoot. Like,
score. Who's gonna score if Carter's out? It's not all gonna go to Oduro and Pierre. I mean,
maybe.
I think it might.
But Garway Dual, 3,300. I think he's a smash play. Freshman, awesome. Like, look, I mean, I think they want to get him going. 19% assist rate can get you stocks, 3% block, 2% steal rate. I think Garway Dual is the spot here when Devin Carter's ruled out. I mean, he's the direct backup to Jaden Pierre. He's also usurped some of Jaden Pierre's stretch runs over the last couple of weeks here. So you extrapolate if he goes from 10, 13, 15 minutes up to 28.
Jeez.
Like, come on.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Oh, jeez. All right, let's move on before this gets even more disgusting, because I can just see this playing out with Sim scoring 51 points and, like, none of it absolutely matters.
None of it matters. None of it ended up. But hey, on a day where we told you there would be value, Garway Dual, 3,300. Pencil it down. Write it down. Just make sure
if Carter's out.
If Carter's out. Which,
yeah, hell, even if he's in, maybe. I mean, they might give him more runs. He's a freshman.
Oh, see, let's go down. Let's play a little narrative street there about the freshman wanting to get some run there in the postseason. I like it. I live over there on Narrative Street on the corner of Know Your Role Boulevard and Jabroni Drive, sort of right over there in the caddy corner to that. That's where Narrative Street is, right over there. Thanks for hanging out with us on One and Done. Hey, just so you know, also, this is not the only One and Done episode. This is not the only time you're going to see this guy over here on the YouTube channel tonight. They're coming back. Mike is coming back later on with our guy, Eric the Blue. So make sure you hop back on live later with those. What are y'all going to be talking about later on tonight, Mike?
Some bracket stuff, man. Some bracketology. Why not? I'm sure you guys are all tired of hearing Banta and all those Goodman and all those guys. Like we know how they raw scene. We know how those guys feel, but how do we feel? How do the people feel? We wanted to hear from the people.
This is the people show.
Ask about the people.
This is the people show. It's just like Jeff getting on there and saying Devin Carter can't help himself playing 40. He's going to play 40. That's what the people want.
That's what they want at 10-1.
That is what the people want, but we're not sure if he's going to be out there. Thanks for doing that, Jeff. Hopping in the comments like you always do. Make sure you do like Jeff and Chad and Mama Rocks, who's listening with squirrels everywhere, feeding squirrels and taking care of doing the farm chores and stuff while they watch. We appreciate that for sure. Make sure everybody hits those like and subscribe buttons. Turn on those notification bells. Hop in to the One and Done Bracket Challenge, which is at the top of the live chat there. We might be able to flash that up on the screen here shortly. Make sure you do that for that autographed Caleb Love jersey to the winner. That is right. You have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel in order to win. Remember that. You enter the bracket challenge, and you have to be subscribed to the channel in order to win. So make sure you do all that important stuff. As we move on now to the final showcase game of the night, Minnesota and Butler, a 154-point implied total here. The Gophers are playing 8 guys, Mike, 3 or 4 hitting 30-plus minutes. At least that's been the norm at this point. And the Gophers, they'll score the basketball a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, and they should be able to score inside because Butler gives up a ton of fantasy points inside. They're 9th in the Big East play in 2-point percentage allowed, 9th in Big East play in defensive efficiency. It's really hurt their overall defensive efficiency, obviously, and it's a pace-up spot. I mean, Butler likes to play a little bit faster. I think we look at Dawson Garcia at 8,300. I mean, a super smash spot for these front court guys. I'll be attacking this because I will have the money to go up and get a Dawson Garcia. High usage rate, high rebounding rate, even 11% assist rate for him. We know the talent was there, obviously, at North Carolina a few years ago. Even gives you a 3% block rate and will shoot some threes. So Dawson Garcia is awesome. I love Elijah Hawkins' price point. He's been playing 38 to 40 minutes every game. I hope we see that. We just, we don't know. I'm going to tamper my expectations a little bit for him getting that many minutes because he's 10th in the country in assist rate. So when you have the ball in your hands, you're dishing it out. He can shoot the 3. It's a nice steal rate. His price tag is saying, you know what, why don't we just go 5X? And he's been paying 4 or 5X off. I have interest in Garcia and Hawkins, obviously the 2 big dogs. Obviously the discrepancy of $1,500 makes me want to get to Hawkins a little bit more, but I'll have the money to get to Garcia. I don't really have to stress about that. So going to mix them in, obviously, against what's been a poor Butler defense, especially down low. Mike Mitchell, his minutes are gone. 5,300. They're just not there. And with that has been his fantasy production. So I'm not too hyped on that. I'd much rather go to the other front court guy that hasn't done anything lately and has been frustrating, and that's Pharrell Payne. But Pharrell Payne has 14, 11, and 3 block upside every time he takes the court, especially in this type of matchup. So I'm going to get myself in trouble going to Pharrell Payne, who was 68, almost 7,000 not too long ago.
I heard they call him for real because he's the truth, especially at 5,200, man.
God, like, come on, man. Like, it's there.
Dive in with
It's
me.
there to
Dive
win
in with
2K.
me.
Pharrell Payne is there to win 2K. He really is. Obviously, a large field option because we don't know. Look at the last 7 turnovers last game. But when you watch him and like you hear everybody talk about this guy and how hard he works, like, man, I have a hard time, man. Darcy up at the top, Pharrell Payne and smash spots. Elijah Hawkins, love his price. Anybody else you like on this side?
Yeah, I think we should talk about Cam Christie before moving on. 5,600. So if you're not feeling pain, if you're feeling the pain of pain and you want to go with Christie and spend $400 more here, I get it. He's living in the 30s in terms of his minutes and has the ability to go 5x here. So 166 attempts from behind the arc, 40% from 3 on the season, well above the Heinrich line of 35%. So you love that. I think you got it. The matchups here, though, are the key on this side. The bigs getting that matchup. Butler is just a sieve on the inside, and I wouldn't blame people for even hopping in twice with Garcia and Payne.
You know what's going to happen too. Jalen Thomas is going to get 2 fouls in the first 6 minutes, and then we're just going to get to eat Andre Screen and Kepke alive down low. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I could see it happening for sure. So, yeah, Christie's somebody to consider, though, in the backcourt.
God, it's a lot of minutes he's been playing. He's a freshman.
It's another freshman playing a ton of minutes that you can tell is that player that next year, the leap from freshman to sophomore year. Is Christie's one of those players that I'm looking forward to the most, maybe even in the country, in terms of what that freshman to sophomore leap is going.
The one thing you can say too, Jay, is that sometimes we get married to the bigs, right? In these spots against a couple of years ago it was Marquette, and this year it's been Penn State, and also obviously Butler and some other teams. But the bigs aren't solid. Sometimes those guards, I like your Cam Christie call. Sometimes these guards can get things done because there's not a lot of rim protection, and they kind of just do whatever they want.
Yeah, he did it against Penn State, right? Like he had that big game against the old Nittany Lions. Which is, like you said, the team that we talk about. We would always play the bigs against Penn State. What do you do? What do you do? What do you play? You play the bigs against Penn State. It was if they're on the slate, you play against Penn State. But Christie has obviously, like you said, the ability to get his in a matchup like this against a team that not just a 3-point stand up spot up shooter. So we'll see if Christie will pay off. Other side here, Butler playing 8 guys. Mike, starters playing big minutes. Posh Alexander.
That's your boy.
Yeah.
7,800.
I feel the pain in my chest already from Posh. I don't know if that's heartburn or.
It's like Narrative Street too, because they got Landon Warren and Finley Bizjack just waiting in the wings to play some minutes, man.
And Finley Bizjack, we've talked about Bizjack before and squeezing him in. But from a value perspective, he might actually play like
25 minutes. That'd be sweet.
A decent complement of minutes. But Posh Alexander, obviously, he's my guy. And
Is he too expensive though, Jay? Or are you gonna try it one more time for old time's sake?
There was ever a time.
7,800.
There was ever a time, Posh. Just one time. One time for me.
Look at the rates against Minnesota though. Dude, they turn the ball over a lot. 299th via the steal.
Yeah, 4% steal rate for Posh there. So you like that.
Minnesota's assist rate
there.
Opponent assist rate.
Yeah, 28% assist rate for Posh.
Let's not do this.
We're talking. See, I led you right to that water, and you're going to drink it, buddy. Yes. Let's do it. Minnesota 215th in turnover percentage, 299th via the steal. This is it's Posh season, Mike. Okay, if it's not for you, if it's not Posh season, who else on the Butler side?
I'm not in love with this side. I guess DJ Davis is interesting. The backcourt's scary though when you got those other 2 kids just waiting. But DJ Davis is a guy that can go out and hit 6 threes. 6,200. The rest of the squad all year, Jamel Telford, Pierre Brooks, Jalen Thomas, they just don't have ceilings at this price point. They're all $800 to $1,000 too expensive for me to want to try in a tournament. So,
Yeah,
man, you're kind of leading me to this Posh Alexander well, man. I mean, Minnesota 12th in 3-point percentage allowed in the Big Ten. Posh not a great 3-point shooter, but when you're wide open.
right.
Oh, man, Gagner saying, Jeff here saying Posh 6 to 7 steals at 7%. One more Posh night, dude. Why
Let's
not?
do it. Let's do it for old time's sake.
We can have the money to do it, but I don't know, bro. That's I'd rather stack a big with a guard on the other side or play the double big like our boy Eric loves to do.
He does love that double big, doesn't he? Thanks for hanging out with us, Scott. Hanging out with us in the comments. Good to see you guys. Great info as always. Have a good slate. Dropping them dollar signs. Thank you, Scott. Good to see you in there as always as well. Thank you so much for doing your part and hopping in that live chat for sure. That completes our showcase games. Moving on to the old world famous tiers now. As we do that, hit those buttons for us. Turn on that notification bell. Follow us at Get Green Screens on TikTok. Follow us at One and Done CBB over on X as well. Find the link to the bracket challenge, the One and Done bracket challenge for that signed Caleb Love jersey over there, pinned to the top of at One and Done CBB. Make sure you hit Get Green Screens as well on X and then on TikTok. That's where we drop some bets. Our guy Nape C Hustle doing his thing. Every once in a while, you see him out there in those socials doing his thing, dropping stuff for us. We appreciate y'all for following us on all platforms. Let's move on to the tiers now. No, not the tiers that I feel like Texas fans are going to feel after Virginia beats them in the official first round of the tournament. But that's a whole other story. These are the tiers in terms of value and then a little bit up higher in the slate as well. We usually go high and then mid and then low. But tonight, because we're such a fan of this value, we're starting with the low tier. Low tier plays here. Mike, who do you got?
Oh boy, there's some names here. We played this guy the other day, and he won me $1,500. So we love that. Javier Esquerra from Wagner.
Roll the Mars, you got it.
Why are we doing this again? He was 3K the other day. He didn't do much, but it was enough. 17 fantasy points. Oh, you know what? At 3K, that's it's over 5x. But if I did my almost 6x, if I did my math correctly, he didn't even shoot well. 1 for 5 from 3. I mean, what are we doing? Like, this is a playing game. He's gonna play 40 minutes again.
He's not gonna lose.
Howard. Like, I don't know. Like, just play him. I played him in 100% of my lineups the other day. It's 50%. I don't know if people just didn't know, because finally they updated his stuff, right? Like, they only had 6 of his games, so I think that's why the algorithm was
Daddy Algo wasn't picking up on it.
Like,
Daddy Algo was sleeping on Esquerra.
Yeah, seriously, and there's still the $900 bump. Like, come on. I'm going to take a play-in game against a poor defense for $3,900. So Sketa. Lazard Djokovic from Xavier. He's 4,000. We haven't talked about this Xavier Georgia game. One, because Georgia is just like so annoying. Sorry, Mama Rocks. With as many guys as they like to just kind of mix and match up. But on this other side, we're getting the old merry-go-round here. First it was Enzi. Now Djokovic is back here. 33 plus minutes in the last 3 games. I mean, yeah, like the production hasn't quite been there, so I feel maybe a little more comfortable with this Sketa at 3,900 playing 40 minutes and being able to produce more assist rate and get some steals and maybe making a few more threes. So Djokovic at least in the player pool, because we know Georgia likes to give up some fantasy points, but he's in there, man. So anybody else down here in this low tier that you want to mention?
Antoine Jones from UCF at 4,100 against South Florida. Shamari Allen hurt his ankle in the final game and is questionable. Jones had to fill in multiple times during the year for Allen. Here's the thing. Here's the key. The last 6 times that Jones has played 20-plus minutes, his fantasy points have been 24, 12, 24, 18, 22, and 23. If the math be mathin', at 4.1K,
Ooh.
I'm getting at least 4.5x out of 5 out of 6 of those games, I should say, The only one time he had the 12 fantasy points, 4,100. If Allen doesn't play, and again, this is an instance like, what are we rushing guys back for? Why are we pushing the limit here? So especially if Allen is out, Antoine Jones, and if you don't play Lazar, he's going to have to Djokovic. I told you that. You got to consider it. You got to consider Djokovic, Jones, and Esquerra at all in these low tier. And then again, you got all the Providence guys under 5,500 too.
Yeah, 2 of them under 5K.
And then do all for Providence. Garway, our guy Garway is the way.
So many pun options.
It's here. They're there. So if you want to play 3 of the top price guys and then come live down here and get crazy, I understand it. You're going to have to mix in maybe a 6K guy that's going to go 5X, 6X for you. But either way, it's going to be really easy to pay up for some of these stars. Those are the low tier plays. If you like them, hop in the live chat and let us know as we move on to the old mid tier plays. Mike, what do you got in this one?
Yeah, this mid tier, we got to go back to this Xavier Georgia well because it is a solid spread here. Going to be a close game. Also, Xavier likes to get up and down the floor. So we'll start with the Xavier side. I mean, I love that Claude is still under 7K. I mean, 6,900. Davion McKnight's price, 7,200. If we're trending the right way, which we should still be with Claude because he's a huge part of their future. McKnight, not sure, what's going to happen there, 7,200. But these guys, along with Olivari, he's just way too expensive, but might be worth it on in this matchup and on this slate because there aren't too many studs. I think I would say I like probably Desmond Claude better than Davion McKnight. You get the $300 savings. Plus, we know he's just a rates monster across the board. We love his game, right? Taking 13 or more shots in the last 5 games. Has rebounding upside for his position. Can get you 2 to 4 assists. Can also poke out some steals for you. So definitely like Desmond Claude and Davion McKnight. Blue Kane on the other side. I love when Georgia post Kane from WWE in blue whenever he does something good. He's 5,600, and look, this is a tale of Mike White, the coach, knowing that he wants to give his freshman that's showed flashes more minutes. The last 2 games, he's played 31 and 28 minutes. He didn't shoot well last game. But look what he did against Missouri. I mean, 39 fantasy points. Like if you watch this guy in real life, he's really good. Obviously, a little bit of foul trouble against Florida there, which was another pace-up type spot. I played him there. Some people did as well. I think he was 10 to 15% on that slate. I hope with the $500 price increase, no one goes here. Because if he plays 32 to 33, 34 minutes against this against this Xavier team who gets up and down and wants to run around and shoot a bunch of threes, he's got slate smashing upside. So looking at Blue Kane there, man.
Kane.
That's gotta be Kane.
That's gotta be Kane. How about Rubio Jones though? Who was talking about North Texas earlier in the live chat? Chad was talking about playing mean green forwards, but how about Reuben Jones in the backcourt for North Texas against LSU here? 26% usage, 26% shot, 27% assist, 3% steal rate. Oh yeah, 40% from beyond the arc as well. He's playing big time minutes, big time pace up against a bad LSU defense. And honestly, because of the amount of value that we've talked about and that's there, you're not going to have to find too many guys in this tier. And he's probably going to go underlooked. I think he's going to be really low owned. And Jones is somebody that you can get different and get to 6X with his upside at 5,900. And then Seth Towns for Howard at 6,800. Again, this is with the injuries and the COVID years and the transfer portal and the this and all the things that are around now. We're getting these guys that are playing. This is his 8th year, Mike. 8th year in college basketball, but it's the injury bug for him, right, that really hit him and caused it. So Dr. Towns, he's getting his doctorate. So Dr. Towns, I salute you by recommending playing you in our mid-tier here. He's only shooting 27% from the field in the last 5. Jay, why would you tell us to play this guy? Because he's still putting up solid fantasy points. 31, 30, 24, 22, and 27 in his last 5 while
He's not shooting well.
27%. Yeah, so
it's a playing game.
Yeah, so Towns is somebody that you have to consider in the mid tier. How about the high tier, Mike? We've hit a couple of these higher priced guys in our showcases. Anybody stand out to you that we haven't hit on yet?
Yeah, and I think we're gonna. A lot of people are gonna go this well because how nice it's been over the past couple of slates. But Kayshawn Pryor from South Florida, he's 8K against UCF, coming off the 53 spot, coming off of a slate winner for me. Also a 34-48 within the last 3 games. His game is awesome. Somebody called him the new Birdman. This doesn't look like he should have a lot of game, but he's so fun to watch. Shoots threes. I mean, I feel like he's going to play 35 to 40 minutes. I mean, this is a good spot. I mean, UCF, it's at UCF, but don't really care. Like, it's the NIT, right? Like, I feel like he's going to see his stock just absolutely explode, getting to see him more on a national level, these conference tournaments and things like that. So, yeah, Kayshawn Pryor, I feel like he's going to be very, very popular as a guy that has huge rebounding upside, can pass, can shoot the three, can rack up stocks. Like, Kayshawn Pryor got to play him here. Your thoughts?
You're living on the low end of this tier. Also. You're 8K flat. No need to worry. My accountant handles that. I'm trying to get some high price plays here, and even the high price plays are low priced in this slate. How about Reese Beekman? Let's spend a little bit more here. All right, how about that? 9,300. All right. The game total is not something that I would write home about. I understand that. Okay?
I think it's like 118 right now.
It's disgusting is what it is. Okay?
It's
not good. But here's the deal. His price is up. The implied total is 119, 119, somewhere in that range on KenPom right now. Nobody is going to play Reese Beekman. You know who's going to play all 40 minutes? Reese Beekman. Okay? Rates across the board are phenomenal, and he's used to putting up massive games and low totals anyway. So this is not like this is not uncharted waters for Reese Beekman. Okay? And this is the same Virginia team that I feel like is going to handle Colorado State and then go and beat Texas. And Reese Beekman is going to be a big part of that. We're under the assumption right now that Devin Carter is out, right, Mike? Like,
but if he's in,
we're operating with Carter with the thought that Devin Carter is out. That makes Beekman the price king. Now, it's going to be easy to get to, but I do think that a lot of people are going to avoid him just with his price.
Barry against Georgia and Pryor at 8K.
Like, why not Reese Beekman?
Garcia.
Why not Reese Beekman? Because you're going to be able to afford him easily. Why
Especially
not?
Since everybody hates Virginia, and like I get it, we don't care for that style either. But Reese Beekman lives in that style. Like he knows how to score 40 plus in that type of game environment. So why be scared of that?
Yeah, don't embrace it. Embrace it. Come along on the ride with me and Reese Beekman. Sammy the Sniper jumping in. Fellas, what's going on? Good to see you in there. As always, Sammy the Sniper, thanks for hopping in with us. Don't go too far because we're going to hit our core 4 here and then get out of here. But the Broskis are coming back. Mike and Eric are coming back in a little bit. So don't travel too far from the Green Screens Media YouTube channel. Make sure you hit those buttons, like and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you know when the guys come right back on here in a little bit. Talk a little bit of the little bracketologist going on a Monday night. We're going to give you the DFS show. Hop back on later on for the bracketology. You know we're bringing it to you from every single angle on One and Done and with Green Screens Media. Those are the tiers. Let's get to the core 4s now, the core 4 and more, as we like to say, because we're not just giving you one core 4, we're giving you 2. We're going to give you that cash core 4 and the tournament core 4. Mike, you start with the cash core. Who do you got?
Yeah, so I think you're gonna have to have a punt in order to, even if you don't want to go all the way up to the top, you can still play as many 7 and 8K guys as you want. So for this, 2 in mind, right? But Devin Carter's out. We're operating under that assumption. We'll look at Garway Duval at 3,300. If Devin Carter's in, you can safely go over to Javier Esqueda from Wagner at 3,900. So I feel like Carter's out. It's still 50-50. I'm gonna use one in each one, and sometimes I'm gonna put them together. Assuming Carter's out. If Carter's obviously in, that hurts everyone on the Providence side. So you kind of want to maybe steer away from that a little bit. Then Tyler Perry. I mean, 6,200 for a guy that's been 75, 8,000 all year in this spot against Iowa. Like it's pretty nice here for Tyler Perry. So 6,200 for him. Bruce Thornton playing Cornell, like 7,600. He takes a ton of shots, high assist rate. Can get some stocks in this one. At 7,600, you feel really good about him being able to get you a nice 4x cash. And then Keyshawn Pryor, man, like the South Florida guy we just talked about here, man, 8K. Just been doing it. We know he's going to get big minutes. You know he's got high rebounding upside and stock upside, which has raised his floor. And he's been playing really well. So it's really hard to kind of not get to him in his floor as well. So I think also Perry and Pryor you can probably use in tournaments along with the cash, along with the punts, man. So that's the breakdown of the old cash side, man. Leaving us with let's see here. What did I do? Is this an all-time high? I think I just set a record here at 62.25.
You don't get
that just tells you the kind of slate it is.
Yeah, and this I'm not giving you credit for that, for leaving these cats and cadets with 62.50 per player on a cash lineup in this slate. But I've seen you give out core fours where they get 5K per player, and then you just tell them to deal with it. Obviously, these core fours,
pillars.
Yeah, they're the pillars. They're the pillars of lineups. You don't necessarily have to play them all. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we just mix and match and start our lineups with these cats. Love the cash core there. I'm doing the tournament core 4 because why not? As Sammy the Sniper hopping in saying Auburn might not be playing tomorrow, but he's going to hop in and talk ball. We appreciate that. We didn't put up the cat signal tonight to get the Tigers in here. No, but Sammy the Sniper, longtime supporter of Green Screens Media, hopping in.
Sam.
We appreciate it, Sam. And then Jeff saying, Mike, making it rain.
Yeah, dude,
exactly.
For everybody.
In your lap. What can I say except you're welcome? Is what Mike likes to say when he drops 62.50 in your lap there per player. I am going to give you the tournament core here. I'm starting with Dual and or Esquerra as well here. Obviously, no Devin Carter. Remember that. That's something to pay attention to. But Dual at 3,300. If Carter's out, this could be just smash city. Don't be afraid to go to Esquerra either. Both of those guys in your lineup if you want to, if you're really spending up, like I'm going to do here. Cam Carter at 6,100 is not the spend up. He's too cheap. Cam Carter at 6,100. You're blowing my mind here, guys. It's time to slot him in. 6,100. Tourneys only, though. There's a reason Mike didn't bring him up in the cash game. Okay? Cam Carter for tourneys at 6,100. Now I'm going to spend up here. Dawson Garcia. Butler will not stop him. He will not. Garcia's going to have his way in the interior at 8,300. So Dawson Garcia at 8,300. And then, yes, going back to it, Reese Beekman. Ride the train with me. Be afraid. Be very afraid. And we will reap the rewards from Reese. We will reach the rewards of Reese Beekman, if you will, at 9,300. I bet you guys didn't think that we were going to put Reese Beekman
in a cash staple.
He's the cash guy, right? He's Mr. Cash Game.
But what happens?
Not so fast. Everybody, including your auntie, your uncle, your granny, everybody, your cousin JoJo with the gimpy leg, they're all running the other way with this price tag in total. We're trying to win commas. We're trying to see commas and get this bread. And you know how you do that? You're different. Reese Beekman in tournaments at 9,300 is different. And what do you think? Regardless, this feels like a 50 spot coming for Beekman, Mike. I just feel it coming for Beekman. So we're going Reese Beekman, Dawson Garcia, Cam Carter, and then Garway Dual or Esquerra or whatever it is, however it is that you're going to be getting it. With this one here, I'm the guy that's leaving you with 5K per player here. So Mike and I reversed roles here. Actually, Mike actually left you a little bit of budget, and I took it all the way. Guys and gals, it's not like you can't find plays at 5K, okay?
Yeah. Or 4K.
Make sure you watch this whole show. Go back and watch it. Go back and take notes. Do your thing. Find those 5K players and cram these guys into your lineups. Choose another value play that we offer. Get that salary back up. And then you're cooking. You're cooking with grease, man. And that's what we do here on One and Done. All right, listen up. I was hyping the second show. I was hyping it. Doesn't look like we're going to get that second show tonight. My apologies. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 tomorrow to make it up for you, okay? I was ready. I was ready to watch Mike and Eric go at it and talk bracket, okay? Last minute change of plans. Going to do 2 today. If you're watching live, we're Monday Night Raw. We're going to end before 10 o'clock Central Time. I'm going to be able to actually watch my show.
That's
tonight.
a record.
That's fantastic. That is a record to get in and out of here before 10 on Central Time. But we're going to do 2 tomorrow. We'll be coming back to you live. And hopefully so will Sam the Sniper, Scott, Jeff, Chad, Jason B, Mama Rocks, Eric the Blue, of course, all of the people hopping in that live chat. Mike, any of the captain's comments to close us out here?
Yeah, I love your tournament core. I would love to put a Sketa in there, man, for 3,900. Because then you're back up into the mid 5s. There's just so many options. Those are pillars too, right? Like you don't necessarily have to, go all the way up to Beekman. Maybe that'd be super different because that it shows you why. I'm not afraid in tournaments because I think with all we just don't know what's going to happen with younger players in the NIT. The prices are up on some of the guys in the in the first 4s. So this one has anything and everything that could happen. So I think going back to the play a few more lineups than maybe you normally would, just so when Georgia decides to maybe play their starters 35 minutes, and then you're like, oh man, I wish I'd have gotten to Georgia against Xavier. Or Xavier doesn't play their guys more than 28 minutes. You see Trey Green running out there for 25 minutes at 4K and hits like 5 3. So this is a time to get completely crazy. Love it though. Can't wait for Thursday slate.
No kidding. We just saw one of the wildest and weirdest conference tournament championship weekends of recent memory. This opening slate of March Madness here, what we're considering the opening slate of March Madness, is going to get weird as well. But that's what we do here on One and Done. We get weird. We give you the play so you can get this bread. Thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you get over to YouTube if you're on Twitter or wherever else you're watching us. Make sure you get over to YouTube, hit like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you get both shows tomorrow. Sounds like we're going twice. What do we got in my? Yes, confirmed. Going to go twice tomorrow. So make sure you got those bells on. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Dr. William Cannon. I will smash that follow back button at MC Holland 34 for El Capitan himself. Eric the Blue, the Baron of Bread of Green Screens Media, pushing buttons tonight. We appreciate him for hopping in the live chat as well. And those pretty graphics that you see, those don't, not only do they come out of my salary, not only do they come out of my paycheck, but those beautiful graphics come from the mind of Eric the Blue. So make sure you shout him out for that and follow him in those Twitter streets at Fantasy Nav. And then our guy at the Real Napier as well, Napesy Hustle. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Do your part in the Green Streets Media universe. Hit the buttons. Tell somebody you love them. Take care of yourself. Let's get to March Madness, and let's get this bread, baby. Choo!
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.